Carolina Insider is presented by Wells Fargo, official sponsor of Carolina Athletics.
We're back. Time for another edition of the Carolina Insider. I'm Jones. That's Adam. Thanks so much for being here as we move into the spring season in Chapel Hill. So excited to talk Tar Heels with you. We have a busy show coming up. Winter sports coming to a conclusion, spring sports in full gear. We have a social drive coming up as well. And of course, Adam, we have a terrific guest, and it's actually guests with an S on the end of it today. Talking a little national championship today. In person with Tar Heel national champion wrestler Austin O'Connor, also Carolina Wrestling head coach Coleman Scott coming into the studio, into the house of this pod. Because they saw Bubba Cunningham do it and thought it looked really fun, and so they wanted to be a part of that also. So we're going to talk to them coming up in just a little bit. But Adam, let's get started with, unfortunately, the end of Carolina's basketball season. And man, it just did not end in a very attractive fashion in West Lafayette, Indiana. Carolina falling to Wisconsin, and really a poor first 20 minutes against the Badgers doomed Carolina the rest of the way. I got to give Jones credit on this one. He said this was going to be a bad matchup for the Tar Heels. He was correct. We know Wisconsin plays a style the Tar Heels don't especially like, and Carolina didn't handle it very well. They didn't shoot the ball very well. Wisconsin shot the ball much better. Carolina didn't defend Wisconsin shooting the ball very well. All these things are a bad recipe for a first-round NCAA tournament matchup, and Carolina, I think, leaves West Lafayette, Indiana feeling like they just didn't play very well. Wisconsin played great, and Carolina went home. Adam, it transitions now into the offseason, and Carolina's roster, like it feels like everyone else's roster too, is really in flux right now, and there's a couple reasons for that. Certainly we're coming off a unique year where I'm guessing that people's experiences at their individual places are maybe different than in a traditional year. There is no penalty to transfer this season, plus you have the extra year of eligibility for everyone, most notably for seniors. And so right now we know Walker Kessler has elected to put his name into the transfer portal. We know also that Day'Ron Sharp has elected, as you see there, to make the move to professional basketball. And so just don't know what Carolina's roster is going to look like. It feels like these next few weeks and potentially months will be ones of a lot of activity, both with the Tar Heels and other teams. And I think, of course, we're more attuned to what's happening with Carolina than we are any other schools. I think you'll see this at a lot of other schools, including some that are still playing in the NCAA tournament. You know, places always put out the way too early top 25. I think it's way too early to even think about next year until all the movement is settled, both professionally and between schools. Once all that happens, I still think Carolina's going to put a competitive team on the court next year that you're going to like watching play and that Roy Williams is going to enjoy coaching. But it's going to take a while to figure out exactly who's going to make up that group. And hopefully there's a lot more people in the seats next year when Carolina is able to play, as hopefully we're starting to get a little more return to normalcy. One thing that we know for next year and beyond, Adam, is that one of the scholarships for Carolina basketball has now officially been endowed by Danny Green. What an incredible gift from former Tar Heel Danny Green, giving $1 million to endow a Carolina men's basketball scholarship. Just awesome news. Well, and if you've heard Danny Green on the audio version of the Carolina Insider, you know this is one of our favorite guys, and you know why, because of just how normal he seems and how appreciative he seems of everything that Carolina did for him, that Roy Williams did for him. He stuck it out all 4 years. I think here's a great example of someone who, in the current 2021 climate, might have gone elsewhere after his freshman year. That wasn't an option. He stayed, and he has benefited, and now in return, Carolina basketball, Carolina athletics has benefited from all the incredible success he's had. He's won NBA titles with 3 different franchises. He's just had incredible success in his basketball career beyond what anyone would have hoped when he was in Chapel Hill. And for him to return some of that to Carolina says a lot about him, says a lot about Roy Williams, says a lot about Danny Green's family. And Danny Green's Carolina family also seem to think quite a lot of it themselves. Yeah, in fact, we were able to get some comments from several of his former teammates and coaches. Wanted to pull just a few of them here for you to watch here on the show. Here's Coach Williams Deion Thompson and Bobby Fraser, talking about Danny Green.
Danny Green, Roy Williams here. I did take my mask off so you could hear me clearly. It's not like it used to be when I was yelling at you to get back on defense, son. Danny, it's hard for me to put into words. I do get a little emotional. When Eric called me and said that you had agreed to give that gift, it was pretty special, son.
DG, was good, my dude. I just wanted to come here and let you know how proud of you I am. I heard about your generous donation that you made to UNC, and it's truly amazing. It really speaks to you as a person, your character, your heart, and as well as the hard work and the dedication that you put in over the years, bro.
I had a front row seat to the work ethic that you had. You've obviously earned everything in your career. And again, this gift just shows the type of character you have, the type of person you are. So I just want to say thank you. I'm proud to be your teammate, proud to be your friend. And I just, again, think it's so cool. Thank you. Congrats. Can't wait to see you in Chapel Hill, man. We'll celebrate. But I am going to let you pick up the tab.
Oh, those boys, Adam, they're just funning out there even as adults now. So thank you so much, Danny Green. And as Adam said, what a winner. I mean, a national title in college, 3 NBA titles with 3 different teams, and he's on one of the best teams this year with the Philadelphia 76ers. So congratulations to Danny for all that success, and thank you again for everybody around Carolina Athletics to Danny Green for that generous donation. Adam, let's transition to women's basketball. Their season also came to a conclusion in the NCAA tournament with a first-round loss to Alabama. But Adam, gosh, this just felt like a step on the progress that program under Courtney Banghart is making. They do lose 3 good players in seniors, Janelle Bailey, Stephanie Watts, Petra Holoshinska, but they're returning a couple of starters. They have a nice young base, and they're bringing in one of the best recruiting classes in the nation, a class that is ranked as high as number 2. There you see those young women who will be joining Carolina basketball next year on the women's side of things. It just, again, this year was progress, felt like a step in the journey that is very clearly underway.
That felt like a game that'll be important when Carolina plays future NCAA tournament games next year and beyond. And in addition to that recruiting class, Tar Heels also picked up an important transfer in the transfer portal from Princeton, who had played under Courtney Banghart at Princeton, now coming to Carolina. So Tar Heels feel like they've got a pretty good foundation for next year and beyond.
Well, spring sports are fully underway. That also includes spring practice for Carolina football as it is scheduled. In fact, more than scheduled, it is already underway. Earlier this week, Carolina getting back on the field for their 15 days of spring practice. There you see the Heels getting ready to go. And then, Adam, a lot of good things happening around Carolina football. Our good friend Lee Pace here in that tweet kind of bullet pointed it for those things for us as, gosh, there is just a lot of excitement around the Tar Heels right now.
One of these bullet points would be exciting. 2 of these bullet points would be really good. You've got all 6 of them. That's a really good sign. Just a ton of buzz around spring practice and everything that's going on with it. You see right at the top of that list the contract extensions for Mack Brown and the staff. Staff continuity, big part of successful big-time college football.
And speaking of Carolina's football staff, Adam, a new addition made to that staff this week. And I'm going to try not to get too excited, Adam, because I absolutely love Natron Means, former running back for the Tar Heels. He's been in college coaching, coming to Chapel Hill as an offensive analyst. And look, we know this, Natron Means could go on the field.
What a fun player to watch. Looking forward to having the current players get to know Natron in a staff capacity. Really recommend his interview on the audio version of the Carolina Insider a couple years ago. Not just because Jones was giddy as a schoolgirl, but also because Natron told some great stories, some of which he probably now can't tell that he's on the staff. So go back and listen to the archive version so you can hear him. But he's going to be a huge asset. And this is what Mack Brown's done so well. Bring in Carolina football family members with whom he is familiar, who understand the Carolina football experience and can then relay that to the current Tar Heels.
8th former player that is on the staff in some way around Carolina football, and what a terrific one. He's been in coaching for 17 years. He was in the NFL for 7 years. He was an All-Pro. He helped lead the Chargers to a Super Bowl in the mid-1990s as well. So great to have Natron Means back in Chapel Hill and as a part of Carolina football. All right, Adam, let's talk a little spring sports. As we know, 5 teams still ranked number 1 in the nation, and that includes men's tennis or actually women's lacrosse. Let's start there. There you see women's lax number 1, and gosh, look at how crowded the ACC is there in the top 25 poll for women's lacrosse. Tar Heels have already vanquished a couple of those teams as they've moved through this season. Also, men's tennis number 1. They had to have a big comeback to hold on to that number 1 ranking. They were down 3-1 and at a match point at South Carolina this past weekend, but rallied to win it 4-3.
Power of the mullet, Rinky Hijikata. We heard about the mullet a couple weeks ago on the Carolina Insider, and it's still going strong. That's how you win close matches, with a strong mullet.
On the women's side, Sarah Davatella named the ACC Women's Tennis Player of the Week as the Tar Heels continue to roll in that sport. Women's soccer, a rare non-number 1. They are number 2. We'll accept it for now, Anson Dorrance, and they started their spring season with a 5-0 victory over Delaware. And Adam, something that the women's soccer program talks a lot about is how hard they work, but also what a tight team they are and how much fun they have. And this video coming up, a new training drill here. Can you take me through the intricacies of what they call #2footy?
Not without falling over. This is something that it seems like women's soccer just kind of tried one day. It feels like they're always having fun. I'm sure at some point it's hard work, but on social media, clearly they're doing a good job. Also, clearly, if we had a soccer ball in here and I tried to do this, could I kick it without falling over?
No. Oh, no. The answer to that is no. So looking forward to seeing the women out on the field here in the coming weeks. And that's been one silver lining of COVID and some of those fall sports now competing now, and beautiful weather outside and everything going on. Just seems like every day, but certainly every weekend, there's just a bunch happening around Chapel Hill.
I really thought Jones was going to bring a soccer ball.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, Adam, what I do have is some baseball notes for you, and that's because the Diamond Heels have started their season very well, ranked in the top 25 here early in the season. And Adam, their last 4 games have been against ranked opponents. That includes a victory over number 8 East Carolina. That was on Tuesday night in Chapel Hill. They also took 2 of 3 at BC this past weekend. The Eagles were ranked number 21 in the nation. The guys are also having fun, as you see. That was after a home run against ECU, and they're tied for the top spot in the ACC Coastal right now and have a big matchup with NC State coming up, a 3-game series. That is 6 o'clock Friday evening, 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Scott Forbes, first-year head coach, talked a lot about after the ECU game how he has talked about with his team the importance of this week, big in-state rivalry matchups. Got the win over the Pirates, 3 big ones coming up against the Wolfpack. All right, a couple of programs are in their postseasons. That includes swimming and diving. The women finished up number 12 in the NCAA. They were 3rd among ACC programs in their NCAA finished, and that included a couple of individual standouts. Grace County, a 3-time All-America in the 50 free, the 100-meter backstroke, and the 100-meter free. And then Aranza Vasquez, who's just a freshman, she was the runner-up in both the 1-meter and 3-meter diving at the NCAA level and finished 6th in platform diving. So Adam, Mark Gangloff, who also, by the way, his men's team has qualified for the NCAA championships. That started last night in Greensboro. Mark Gangloff, still early in his career at Carolina, doing a terrific job building those programs.
Second year in Chapel Hill has them headed in the right direction. Boy, Aranza Vasquez really did it from the beginning to the end of the year. From her very first meet to the very last, she was highly productive.
And one more before we move forward, that is gymnastics. And Elizabeth Colton qualifies for the NCAA regionals in the all-around competition. The Eagle Championships were this past week. Elizabeth finished 1st in bars, beam, and all-around. So pretty darn good for Elizabeth Colton. Best of luck to her in Athens, Georgia in early April. for the NCAAs. Okay, our interviews today is with wrestling, and that's because Austin OConnor won the NCAA title at 149 pounds. Adam, he is the 6th national champion as an individual for Carolina's wrestling program, the first since TJ Jaworski in 1995. What an accomplishment for Austin.
And that was an intense championship match. So I'm looking forward to talking to Austin and to head coach Coleman Scott about exactly what that was like to be there and live that.
The entire show brought to you by Wells Fargo, and our communities need us. Wells Fargo is here to help, and our interviews brought to you by Coca-Cola, which tastes better together and is a proud partner of Carolina Athletics. Well, let's get to our interview with Coleman Scott and Austin OConnor. After that, we will move into our social drive here on the Carolina Insider.
We say all the time, you walk across campus at North Carolina, you're probably going to run into a national champion somewhere along the way. This week, you might run into Austin OConnor.
You probably don't want to run into Austin, though. He'll just take you down if you do.
Carolina's latest national champion, Austin OConnor, just won the NCAA Wrestling Championship this past weekend, along with head coach Coleman Scott. Congratulations to both of you. What have your last few days been like?
Been a little hectic. Getting back into school. This was the first season that it didn't fall on spring break, so that's been a little bit of a challenge. But other than that, it's been pretty nice. Still getting a lot of congratulations, hearing from people that have supported me throughout the years. So it's been good.
Coach, how did he do it? He's going to be humble and say all the
sure.
right things. How did he make it happen?
You know, when we brought him in and recruited him 3 or 4 years ago, we sold him on a promise. Hey, we're going to win a national title. We've done it. We know how to do it. And then we had to back up what we said. We had to walk the walk, and we knew we had the guy to do it. And you know, I couldn't be more pleased. You know, as a coach, the satisfaction we get is to see a student athlete accomplish a goal, not just a yearly goal. This is a lifelong goal for us wrestlers. This is what we look at since we've been 6 years old. So. And it's not just me. It's a program that's done it. And, you know, we put a gold medal around somebody's neck for the first time in 26 years.
Yeah.
That's a damn good feeling.
Yeah.
You know, so for us as a program making that step and as a leader on the mat, off the mat, you know, first question the answer was about school, right? That shows you who he is. It's not falling behind. It's making sure he's pressing forward. You know, so I couldn't be happier, more pleased with him. You know, and what he's given to us program this far, and we still got him for 2 more years. Yeah.
There was a great video on social media of Coach Scott kind of living those last 20 to 30 seconds of the match.
Yeah.
That was a roller coaster of a final 30 seconds or so. What was it like to actually be living that in person as things go back and forth?
Yeah, I mean, he expressed the excitement that was going on, but got caught a little bit at the end, just kept wrestling through how I normally do. And just got to stay calm and collective and just keep going after it. And, yeah.
Austin, I have 2 questions. Okay, number 1, I feel like you have to be a little bit crazy to be a wrestler. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, that's definitely true.
When did you realize that you fell into that mindset?
Probably right away when I was young. I mean, I started wrestling when I was 4 years old, and growing up watching my brother wrestle a little bit. I mean, I wanted to be right on the mat with them, and just kind of had like that mindset when I was real young that's kept me going.
Okay, now you also have like this awesome tattoo. As you can imagine, neither Adam nor I can really pull off the tattoo game, especially one. Yeah, there it is. There's a good picture of it.
Yep.
How did that come about? That is unbelievable.
So I went to Catholic school in high school, and when I made my communion, I picked St. Michael as my guardian angel, and yeah, I ended up getting a tattoo of St. Michael fighting the demons. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm just going to tell you that's awesome. That's tough. You got to back that up when you have that thing.
I feel like I don't trust Austin's answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Did that hurt?
Actually, the second session was probably the worst. I just got back from California, so had a little sunburn on my arm, so it made it a little bit difficult to sit through, but I got through it.
Coach, you guys not just had the individual national champion, finished 16th, I believe that's right,
Yeah.
as a team. Yeah. Where do you feel like you guys are right now in your growth, and what was this past year like? It's so many different unique challenges.
Starting with the year, right, resiliency and easier, not easier, but for us coaches to sit here and guide them through that. But for these kids, we came into a wrestling season, didn't know what we were going to expect, didn't even know to the fall that we weren't going to start till January 1. Didn't even know who we could compete against. The Big Ten went against only Big Ten. ACC did our thing, and so the uncertainty that we've never had. There's one thing that we've always known: when your schedule's set, that's who you got, right? Your practices are these days. Those have never wavered. So we had the first year ever that we had that, and these guys stuck it out, And though for me, finishing 16th, it was good, but it's just a stepping stone to get there. We had all 8 guys wrestle 2 or above their seeds, which is pretty outstanding. But then as a coach, you go back and you sort of nitpick everything that you could have ddone a little better, right? The few moments that slipped away that we could have been top 8, top 7, right? And we're right there. We're right on the cusp. So we have a great team coming back, and I really look forward to making that next step, top 10, top 5. That's the goal: winning national titles. It's not being satisfied with where we're at.
We talk about this a lot on this show. There's a lot of really good programs on this campus right now. As a competitor and as a coach, what difference does that make to you when you look around campus and you see a lot of teams and individuals having incredible success on a weekly basis?
Absolutely. For me, it's huge. When you get Anson Dorrance texting you that how happy he is for Austin, and he watched the whole thing, and he's a superstar, right? In my book, he's a superstar, and it goes down the list. Jenny and Coach Bresci and everybody sends you congratulations. That to me, and those are the ones I look up to. So for me to have that be the young guy here and looking up to those guys, for them to pay attention is huge. And I can pick their brains, and like you said, you can't walk in Carmichael Arena without seeing a national champion coach, athlete. You can't do it, right? And that's the best part about this place.
Austin, how about you? What do you think?
Yeah, we're a university of national champions, so just to keep that going, finally get one in wrestling, and just keep that tradition, and yeah, it feels great.
I know this is a generic question, but Coach mentioned it. First one since the mid-1990s, obviously something that you've been striving for a long time. Has it washed over it? Like, have you sat there and thought, man, I'm a national champion? Has that hit you yet?
Yeah, a little bit. Still kind of getting all those texts and everything still, so I'm still kind of like on cloud 9, just thinking about it, just what I accomplished. I'm never not going to be a national champ again, so
sure.
That feeling's amazing.
There was a picture of you after the match eating a pizza.
Yeah.
How much of that pizza did you eat, and when was the last pizza prior to that you had?
I probably can't remember the last pizza. Probably not since the last time I've been in Illinois. Yeah. But I probably finished about half that pizza, maybe a little more at the time.
Every bit of half of it.
Yeah.
To the victor goes the spoils, though, right? Yeah. Coach, before we let you guys go, kind of what is the next step for you guys as you transition into the off season? What becomes important for you guys now?
I was back in the room on Monday. We got a couple athletes wrestling in Olympic trials next weekend, so we kicked it right off, right into that. For me, these guys need a little break. Like you said, the turmoil that they've been through since last March, right? They need some time to step away and clear their minds and come back. And he said it. He's never not going to be a national champ, right? But now it's about adding to it and widening that gap, because he's got the bullseye on him, right? And there's no doubt in my mind that he will, right? But that's reality. So it's back to work. It's back to work when these guys are ready to put the work in. And like I said, we passed them, we caught them, we got our hand raised. Now it's about leaving them in the dust, and that's what we're doing.
Yet another program that is competing on the national level here in Chapel Hill, Carolina Wrestling. Congratulations again to Austin O'Connor, Coleman Scott, nice enough to join us here on the Carolina Insider. We appreciate both Coleman Scott and Austin O'Connor's time. Adam, will you get the same tattoo that Austin has on your shoulder?
I'm still thinking about where that other half of the pizza might be.
Yeah, let's get to the important stuff. Who ate the rest of that pizza? Congratulations to Austin. What a great accomplishment. National champion at 149 pounds. And, similar to what we were talking about with swimming, a coach that is still relatively young in his Carolina career, and Coleman Scott that has really got that program headed in the right direction. Let's go from there straight ahead on the social drive. Adam, drive us in. And a gentleman that we heard from a little bit earlier in the show is where we're going to start, and that is Bobby Fraser. You heard Bobby part of that Danny Green scholarship package, and what a big honor for Bobby Fraser. Adam, named the Coach of the Year in his conference. He's the head coach at Brother Rice, named the Catholic League Coach of the Year. He's done a terrific job with what is really a powerhouse high school program.
This is a case where I really feel like Bobby's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing. He loves Chicago, he loves coaching, he loves basketball, he loves his school, and he's getting to do all those things, and as you just said, he's really good at it.
Yeah.
I just think that's the perfect case of the exact right person in the exact right spot.
Somebody else who's had a bit of success in his chosen field, both playing basketball and then talking about it afterwards, is Kenny Smith. And Adam, Kenny chimed in on on social media this week after the Carolina Dunk of the Day account sent out an old Kenny Smith jam against Auburn to cap off a win in the Sweet 16. This is from 1985. And so this was in Birmingham against Alabama. And of course, Kenny Smith always had the hops there.
Carolina, the better seed, yet going to Birmingham to play Auburn. Clearly, the Tar Heels excited with the punctuation mark on that one, so you imagine there might have been a little back and forth as Carolina moves on with some style.
Yeah, I said Alabama. Of course, I meant Auburn, as the Tar Heels eliminated the Tigers there in the Sweet 16. Unfortunately, that particular year, Carolina would fall in the next round to eventual national champion Villanova. Adam, let's move from there to somebody currently playing in the NBA, and that is Justin Jackson, as he continues to have success, including a nice play here for the Thunder against the Rockets this past week. And good to see Justin. And then after we go from Justin, we're going to go to Tony Bradley. Good to see these guys having some success.
You know, and whenever Justin Jackson's gotten the opportunity, he's produced. This is something you talked about when Justin was here. It was really cool to see how active he was on World Down Syndrome Day this week on social media. That's been a big part of his career with Gigi's Playhouse, something he was involved with here in Chapel Hill. Tony Bradley involved with a championship when he was here in Chapel Hill, as was Justin Jackson. And this is another guy who, when he's had the opportunity, there with Danny Green and the 76ers, he's produced as well.
His teammates did a pretty nice job finding Tony Bradley some clean looks here in this 18-point and 11-rebound performance for him. So congratulations to both Justin Jackson and Tony Bradley for some quality weeks this past week. All right, we know the season didn't end the way any of us wanted for Carolina basketball, but Kayla Ohai, now Kayla Ohai Watt, of course her husband JJ Watt, JJ, a Wisconsin grad, so you know we probably had some smack talk going on, but Kealia made sure that she had the final straw there.
I like how she made sure to list the exact numbers each time, just to make sure everybody knew. Kealia, NCAA championships, 6 for basketball, 7 national championships.
7 national. Wisconsin's was back in the 40s, so yeah, and then 1-0 personally, so that's good to see. We know who the real champion is in that household.
The 40s doesn't really count, whereas the Helms Foundation
the 20s,
is real. That's real. That's when
banner.
Real people play basketball.
Put it up there. It's a banner. J.J. Watt, of course, on the move. He went from Houston to Arizona, and Adam, a couple of Tar Heels in the NFL, either on the move or signing deals to stay put, depending on who we're talking about, and that includes James Hurst, former Tar Heel offensive lineman. He just signed a 3-year deal with the New Orleans Saints. He'll be moving into his 8th NFL season. Mac Hollins sticking around with the Miami Dolphins. Feels like one of those teams that is making a move into the upper portion of the NFL and has some big dreams for this upcoming season. And then Mitch Trubisky, not just the MVP of the Nickelodeon game earlier this year, but he's also changing teams. He goes from Chicago to Buffalo.
Those seem like good fits all around for those Tar Heels. Mitch Trubisky felt like it was time for both he and the Bears to try something different, and looking forward to seeing what he can do in Buffalo.
Also from the current Tar Heels that are trying to make their way to professional football, big day coming up as Pro Day is on Monday for Carolina. 5 different Tar Heels are combine invitees, And so looking forward to seeing them here on campus, showing off their stuff to some scouts. And certainly, Adam, I think all 5 of those guys, Michael Carter, Javonte Williams, Daz Newsome, De'Ami Brown, Chaz Surratt, they're all going to get picked at some point, and all are going to have a chance at the next level to make some noise.
A lot of buzz about Pro Day, and that's always a good sign for your program because it means you had good players, but also it's attractive to your current players, and you know who else likes it? Future players.
Yeah.
They like seeing Tar Heels have success in the pros, and certainly that quintet definitely will.
Adam, we're going to close things out here with, I think, what could be classified as a So Classy from Joey Lancelotti. Joey, a member of Carolina's pitching staff for Carolina baseball, and pretty cool. So Joey, as so many athletes really are in Chapel Hill, went to visit the UNC Children's Hospital. He interviewed, actually, for a class, a couple of the young people there at the Children's Hospital, specifically in the cancer ward. And then after that, wrote a song about it. We have just a little bit of the song that we're going to let you listen to. Let's do that now.
Well, this might take a little bit of time, but I'm a fighter. Well, this might be an uphill climb, but the top's a whole lot brighter.
And you can hear some more of that and also check out that story about Joey Lancelotti on unc.edu. But Adam, really cool for Joey. And also, I think, again, worth noting, so many Tar Heel student athletes are involved both at the UNC Children's Hospital, the Lineberger Comprehensive Cancer Center, which we're so fortunate in Chapel Hill to have just right across the street from all these terrific athletic facilities. And really cool for Joey and all the Tar Heels to get involved.
And what we hear every time when someone goes and gets involved is what a two-way relationship that is. I think the kids and the folks at the Children's Hospital get something out of those visits, but man, the student athletes and the coaches and the staff members who go over there, they get a lot back too. Great job by Joey Lancelotti. That's not him singing.
No.
But he did write the song, which is just as impressive to me because I can sing like an angel. But writing the song, that's tough to do. So looking forward to seeing what else he may do with that down the road.
Okay, our schedule is going to be a little different here as we move through the next few months. We're not going to be with you every single week. We're going to fall into an every other week rotation with you here on the Carolina Insider. So no show next week, but we'll be back the week after that. We'll try to send you some reminders out on social media, both through the Go Heels channels and the Carolina Insider podcast channel. That is at Carolina_pod. Of course, you can follow all the Go Heels account. Most of those are just at Go Heels, depending on which particular social media channel you are following. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll be back in a couple of weeks here on the Carolina Insider.
See you later, Big Grit.